Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. Man shot on highway in Hanover. A man was shot Friday morning on the North Coast Highway in the vicinity of Elgintown community in Hanover. The incident has resulted in traffic gridlock for motorists traveling between St. James and Negril. Details surrounding the incident, which took place shortly after 9 a.m., are still not available. A source revealed that the victim was rushed to hospital. Unconfirmed reports are that he was later pronounced dead. The incident took place a few feet away from the entrance of the community where a man was shot to death 2 weeks ago. In that incident, 20-year-old Delano Hines was shot to death while riding his motorcycle. Residents praise mystery sleeping policemen in Richmond Park. Residents of Grants Crescent Road in Richmond Park are now sleeping in peace. 2 weeks ago, 8 speed bumps or sleeping policemen were erected overnight on the very narrow roadway in the St. Andrew community. It appears the speed bumps, not professionally constructed, were erected by a concerned resident, even though it is illegal to do so without the authoritative permission, according to the Main Roads Act. When I wake up one morning and opened the door, I saw them, the sleeping policemen, laughing at me, one female resident who wished to remain anonymous reported. While it remains a mystery who exactly is responsible for the project, the residents are thankful. The upshot in that area, once stricken by the noisy sounds of speeding cars, yang bikes, and motorists headed for altercation, is more peaceful with calmer traffic due to the bumps. Not only are community members now sleeping in peace with less noise, they are also walking in solace on the road as unscrupulous bikers are now avoiding the corridors due to the bumps, the resident said, noting that her neighbor was once robbed of a phone by a motorcyclist on the roadway. If this was there, them couldn't rob her, the resident said, pointing at the sleeping bump. Another resident recounted scary confrontations between motorists as a result of the narrow winding road, leaving little room for cars to drive side by side. Too much accident on the road. Since this come, no war take place. Before this, them cuss, gun pull, people war, and fight every day. Since this come up, and you can ask anybody, nobody no cuss again. If a cuss them a cuss is the patrol them cuss, the male resident said. However, not all stakeholders are happy, as motorists have complained that the bumps are too numerous and are damaging the front end of their vehicles. One motorist reported that she understands the need for the bumps, but said she winks every time she drives over a bump and hears the undercarriage of her car rubbing against it. Still, residents believe the inconvenience for motorists is a small price to pay for the possible lives being saved. Their only concern is that, due to recent media exposure of the sleeping policemen, the authorities may attempt to remove them. If they remove some and leave some, then okay, one resident said. 290 pounds of ganja seized in Old Harbor, Barbadian among 2 arrested. A Barbadian is among 2 people arrested in connection with the seizure of over 290 pounds of compressed ganja at a house in Hanover, St. Catherine on Thursday. Reports are that sometime after 8 p.m., members of the St. Catherine South Police Division conducted operations in the Spring Valley community in Old Harbor, where a house was searched and 11 bags containing the compressed ganja were seized. St. Catherine South Police have ramped up operational activities across the division as the season approaches, according to Superintendent Hopton Nicholson, Acting Divisional Commander for the St. Catherine South Police Division. The St. Catherine South Police will continue to carry out operational activities and putting a dent in the illicit drugs for gun trade between Jamaica and other islands is one of our major objectives. Persons involved in that illicit trade will continue to be targeted so as to reduce the opportunities for persons to carry illegal firearms into the island, he said. Parents welcome Sixth Form Pathways Program. Parents are welcoming the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information's Sixth Form Pathways Program as a practical approach that caters to all students regardless of their academic performance. The Sixth Form Pathway is the part of the Ministry's implementation of a 7-year high school program. It allows for students who complete grade 11 to enroll in the program and pursue a 2-year course of study with alternative opportunities alongside the traditional sixth form curriculum. For those who choose not to attend a tertiary institution, the certification they receive at the end of the sixth form Pathways program will prepare them to enter various fields of work or receive further general or technical training. In an interview, retired teacher and father of one, Kenrick Thorpe, commented on the initiative as a good program. From my understanding, it caters for all those who are academically inclined and for those who are not. Those who are not academically inclined will do skill training, which is very good, Thorpe said. I think it's a good program, and I know if it carried out as planned by the ministry, pupils will benefit from it, he noted. St. James resident and mother of two, Gloria Brown, said, I think it is a very good idea, but I think the cost for the kids to attend school needs to be subsidized for the 2 additional years. Government will continue to ensure that regulations are in place to support PWDs, Samuda. Labour and Social Security Minister Carl Samuda says that the government will continue to enact all the necessary legislations and regulations to ensure that persons with disabilities, PWDs, can perform at their best in their workplaces and communities. The latest in this quest is the completion of the Codes of Practice for Public Passenger Vehicle. We are currently working on the Code of Practice for Public Passenger Vehicles to ensure persons with disabilities have better access to transportation, Samuda noted. In his message at the Public Sector Management Sensitization Session, read by the Ministry's Director of Public Relations and Communications, Vanda Palmer, Samuda indicated that so far, the Ministry has completed 3 Codes of Practices. These include the Code of Practice for Employment, Codes of Practices for Education and Training, and the Codes of Practices for Healthcare and Health Facilities. On the other hand, Samuda said that several critical issues are now being addressed in order to complete the regulation. The creation of a Disabilities Tribunal, the restructuring of the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities, the completion of Codes of Practices, the preparation of the confidential register, and consultation with stakeholders to assist the formation of the policy that informs the disabilities regulations are just a few of the initiatives, he explained. The regulations were passed in the House of Parliament in October 2021, following the Disabilities Act in July 2014, under the administration of the former late Minister of Labour and Social Security, Shaini Robinson. The ministry said the regulations will come in full effect on February 14, 2022. Road Safety Unit appeals to motorists in Western Jamaica. With major highways in Western Jamaica recording a total of 129 road fatalities since the start of the year, Deidre Hudson Sinclair, Acting Director of the Road Safety Unit RSU in the Ministry of Transport, is urging drivers to exercise caution when utilizing the roads during the upcoming holiday season. According to data provided by the RSU, as of November 30, Westmoreland leads the West with a frightening 55 fatalities, St. James followed with 32, Hanover recorded 26 and Trelawney had 16. The 2 main causes of motor vehicle mishaps resulted in fatalities along these roads, the data revealed, or proceeding at excessive speed with no regard to conditions, and failing to keep to the near side or to the proper traffic lane. Hudson Sinclair, in a recent interview, pointed out that with these 4 parishes raking up an alarming number of deaths due to motor vehicle crashes along their major roads, she is very concerned about the increased activities along these thoroughfares this Christmas holiday. I can only imagine that because of our inability in previous months to go out and enjoy ourselves, we may think that this is the time, now that we've been given some level of allowances and freedom, but we really want to be mindful of that. So, if you want to do that, just drink responsibly and don't drive, Hudson Sinclair noted. She added, especially when you're moving from the parish of Trelawney and heading towards St. James on that strip of highway, we recognize that there are several factors that we predominantly see. Drivers tend to speed and lose control of their vehicles, with no ability to correct that. Also, you have to recognize that this particular road has some issues in terms of slippery surfaces at certain points. For the last 10 years, the acting director reported the increased levels of activity and interactions on these roads during the month of December have resulted in bloody and fatal Christmas seasons. For this reason, the RSU is appealing to drivers to think about their safety and that of others utilizing the roads. That is why the unit advocates that drivers obey the rules of the road and to take action in the sense of defensive driving, recognizing that they're not the only one using the roads. So they should be looking out for other drivers, motorcyclists and pedestrians, she said. Especially at night, like on Grand Market night, when there is high pedestrian traffic, because we recognize that there will be high pedestrians on the roads due to commerce, so we want to be looking out for individuals who don't have the same level of protection as we do, the acting director continued. DJ Sinclair Hudson added, "We also have an increased level of motorcyclists on our roadways, and we want to appeal to them now more than ever. There are more cars on the road during this period. Cars will be out later because of the increased curfew hours, and we want motorcyclists to wear their helmets and protective gears." And after 129 fatalities in the West, with 52 being motorcyclists and 49 being occupants of personal motor cars, Hudson Sinclair and her team is looking for new ways to change the indisciplined culture of drivers. We have to be seeking out ways on how we are going to be changing that sort of culture in terms of having the road code test done before you get a driver's license, she added. We're ensuring that a road code nationally is developed, and we've been looking on how we engage training in terms of defensive driving because we are not a country that takes safety as serious as we should. This is evident in our refusal to wear a helmet while operating a motorcycle and in the way that we approach driving in inclement weather. So those are aspects of that we really need to look at and see how we can get to the heart of changing our level of indiscipline and our driving culture overall, Hudson Sinclair stated. While the RSU currently utilizes different measures to get its safety message across, Hudson Sinclair said it intends to further educate drivers through training in defensive driving. When it comes to road regulations, there are punitive clauses that we use in terms of trying to see how best we can sway people from driving recklessly. However, I think the heart of the matter is really have to do with people understand the importance of defensive driving and to understand that, the roadway is very dangerous. It is far more dangerous than flying, but people would realize that, the acting director reported. But reckless drivers are not the only one causing motor vehicle crashes on these thoroughfares, Hudson Sinclair noted. The other issue is that we have people with a high level of indiscipline. Unfortunately, along that particular roadway, people are vacating, and I'm sure you've seen some people's Instagram pages. They are taking pictures in the road, so there's a high level of indiscipline, she noted. We want to make a special appeal, especially in the West, Westmoreland and St. James, where we have a high level of motorcycle fatalities. We have it in Kingston as well, but the numbers in the West have really exceeded our expectations, said Hudson Sinclair, in pleading for road users to be cautious. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.